It is Curling Day in Canada.
This is what the day is about.
Curling in and of itself is such an amazing part of the fabric of smaller towns.
You don't often get to curl like this.
Let's go! Let's go! Ah!
Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a perfect game leads to a perfect ending. From the brink of elimination to Briar champion.
Huntsville, baby.
Hurry hard, because we are getting ready to celebrate Curling Day in Canada from beautiful Huntsville, Ontario, about a 2.5-hour drive north of Toronto. And yes, it is a perfect winter day to share stories about the sport we love across our country. We are up and running as we say hello and welcome to Curling Day in Canada alongside Bob Weeks. I am Lindsay Hamilton. And Bob, can you believe it is the 8th Curling Day in Canada?
It's hard to believe. They fly by. They're so much fun. I love them every year. It's so much fun to come to the different parts of the country and see what curling is doing. And
of course, today we are here at the Rockin' Huntsville Curling Club. They're having quite the party.
The joint is jumping. It's a 125-year-old club here, by the way, and they are celebrating in style.
They sure are. And here's why they wanted to host Curling Day in Canada. Take a look.
I believe Huntsville Curling Club is important to the community. Because it gives people a place to go. It's an opportunity to engage in physical activity, have some social engagement. It promotes healthy, active living on an ongoing basis. We support all ages and abilities, and particularly retirees and newcomers to the Huntsville community. We offer accessible activities and social opportunities. It's kind of a welcoming hub into the Huntsville area.
I think what's great is the kids are really keen to learn. And so as soon as you start showing them and then they get the basics down, like the slide and the delivery, they start to put all the pieces together, and then they'll say little things like, oh, I think I should actually put my broom here because this is where the rock's going to go. And it's like, wow, you're putting the pieces together and they're really thinking about it. Well, I think the kids are very excited. I know our kids at Huntsville Curling Club are thrilled. I asked who would like to participate, and everyone is coming. So they're really excited to shine on the ice for TSN.
Yes, it is a rich history of curling here at the Huntsville Curling Club. As we now welcome in Russ Howard. And Russ, I understand you began your curling journey here in Huntsville. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it actually did. It's a funny story, really. Wendy and I got married in '81, way back when. And I was in Midland, 2.5 hours away from Huntsville, so we had to get together somehow. So I managed to get the job as the ice maker at the Huntsville Curling Club, which 125 years, way to go, guys. 125-year-old club, I always get asked to speak because I'm that vintage.
Now, Russ, I understand when you came here, you were the ice maker, but you didn't really start off too well. Is that correct? Maybe made a little slip up.
Yes. Well, yeah. I helped my dad a little bit making ice in Penetang, Midland, but getting the job because we were just getting married. All of a sudden, I'm the head ice maker, so in I go. It's my first real job. Go to put in the ice, and this elderly gentleman said, I'll give you a hand. I know where all the tags go. And as you know, you got to put in the center line, the back line, the hog line, the whole bit. Get the circles in the right spot, make them the right side, right color. And for some reason, they wanted, from hog to hog, they wanted to be green, and the rest, the free guards on white. So this gentleman says, well, all the markings are on, you've got nails right where they should be on the backboards, sideboards, and you know where to put all the lines. So in they go, I get it nice and level. Ice is perfect. Day one, it happens to be the major league. I'm in it. I throw my first 2 rocks, make them, and everybody's coming over saying, we've never had ice this good. It's curling, it's fast, it's lightning. We've never had speeds like this. Way to go, Russ. Second end, I go to throw a guard, and I throw it in the back 12-foot. Next shot, back 12-foot. And I'm normally not that bad for a guard. And I thought to myself, what's going on? And of course, as you know, Bob, it's muscle memory. I suddenly realized I was heavy because I was letting them go too soon. I was letting them go too soon because I had put the hog line in 4 feet too close to the button. So went over to Wendy and said, look, we're going home after the game, get some coffee. We're coming back at midnight. We spent the entire night, most of the morning, trying to fix my error. And to this day, nobody knew about that.
So it didn't exactly start off on the smoothest note, but I think it's come a long way since then,
No.
Russ. And you talk about your early days here in Huntsville. You talk about the memories you have with Wendy. If you look back, is there a curling memory that stands out the most to you in your time in Huntsville?
It was just a camaraderie. You know, I'd come from a small town. Huntsville's a small town, and it's just the love of the game for everybody there. We knew everybody. You know, I remember the spaghetti suppers, bonspiels, where they'd have a pile of spaghetti, and away we go. Everybody chipped in, everybody cooked, potlucks, just the way it used to be. You know, there's so much competitive curling now. I wish those days were still around for most of these clubs, because that's how you build your membership. And if you build your membership, you get a better chance of somebody being the next Rachel Holman or Brad Gushue.
Amazing. Well, you mentioned Huntsville being a small town, but my goodness, they have big energy. It's such a treat to be here at the Huntsville Curling Club today. And Russ, we very much appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Anytime, guys. Have fun.
And lots of social media curling. Look at this. This is Princess Kate. Pretty good delivery, wearing the kilt. Give her marks for wearing the kilt. Some sweepers down there, and yeah, and here's Prince William. He's got pretty good form too. And they were out in Stirling, Scotland, at the National Curling Academy there, trying to help them to promote their Olympic go, because they're going to be doing pretty well at the Olympics. Bruce Mowett's team, I think they could be a gold medal threat.
Yeah, perhaps. All right. Well, we've seen a lot of sports movies over the years, Bob, but have you ever seen a curling movie?
Oh, I don't think I have.
Okay, well, I have to say Cool Runnings is probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. But now we get to prepare for a Jamaican-inspired curling movie. And you know how the saying goes, Bob? Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up. It's curling time. Take a look at your preview of Cool Sweepings.
The series is about a father who owns a curling rink and then gets into some financial issues, and the rink is at risk, and then his son overhears that he's having these issues, and him and his friends try to do a whole bunch of silly things to raise money to save the rink, and then they all fail horribly. So at the end of the day, they end up going back to the roots, which is curling, and there's a bonspiel with the prize, and they enter, and they turn the sport of curling upside down, and adding in that urban flair to the sport of curling.
I honestly thought it was like the coolest thing. I know a lot of people don't know a lot about curling, and I feel like us being able to do a project on it and bring our culture into curling is so dope.
Remember, Winnipeg being, the staple of like curling. It was everywhere. Curling was on television at the time, and I was like, it was a very diverse sport. So I was like, wouldn't it be really cool just to kind of add some, some Caribbean culture, some black culture, or spice it up with some urban culture, and Cool Sweepings was created at that time.
I hope it gives some inspiration to even a sport like this to come out and try and just kind of see how this sport can develop. Like it's definitely good for Manitoba, for Canada, because curling's a Canadian sport. So it's nice to get some more diversity into the sport as well.
Man, curling is so fun. I've been calling it precision bowling for the past couple of weeks, because that's what it feels like. So, for all you young black people out there that want to get into curling, man, come by a rink, grab a drink with their friends, and hit the ice, man. Yeah, for sure.
The goal to bring more attention to curling, maybe even have more people, in, the winter wanting to try the sport. It's good for us to laugh, and add some humor to it, but it's actually a really fun sport, and all the actors that have been working on this project, they're loving it, and it's something that I think that if more people get a chance to try it, they would come to the sport of curling.
Well, last night, the gang went down to River Mill Park and we checked out Funky Friday. Check this out, all the lights, all the skating. It was a little bit of a cold night out there, but there was a fireplace for some of us to come and warm up in there. But those who braved the cold, well, we had a pretty good time under those neon lights. Yeah, well, you got to stay warm.
Well, my name's Debbie Kerwin. The last time I curled was 2006. When we hosted the Parasports up here in Huntsville. And I subbed on one of the teams. And I was in my chair at the time. It was back in 1992, and I was driving, and it was my fault. And I ran off Highway 400, and I broke my neck. And I broke one bone. It was in my neck. I wouldn't have let them not go ahead with renovations unless it was inclusive. Anyway, so they had to deal with me. And part of it is AOTA, the Accessibility Act, which requires any business or a nonprofit business, when they renovate, they must make it accessible. Well, I'm relieved and happy that I'm going to be back on the ice after all this time. But to say I'm happy to be back on the ice is a huge understatement. I'm thrilled. I can hardly wait, because it is. I've curled before. It's a lot of fun.
And then I'll tee you up for Gushue girls from Gander.
Okay.
Hey, Brad, can you hear us okay?
Yep,
boy, it's loud in this rink, too, huh?
Hey, Brad, can you hear us all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No, I don't think so. Okay, good.
You can't hear me? Hello.
Oh.
I'll keep talking. Hey, Brad, can you hear us okay? It's Lindsay and Bob.
Brad Gushue, hello. Coming in.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
We're going to do
Lindsay.
2 minutes of you staring. Oh, there you go. Now you got it. Yeah.
There we go. Hey, Brad.
Hey.
So we got the Gushue girls first.
Correct, yeah. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I heard the 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I heard.
I wanted to announce that this will be my final year in competitive curling.
He now has the chance to win his first Brier title. The following is what you need to become the Canadian curling champions. Canadian champions again, and 5 for Gushue.
The 45-year-old is a 6-time Brier champion.
Wow, 6 is incredible. For a long time, I wondered if I was ever going to get 1.
Canada is your champion.
Our team is ready to go, and we're ready to leave it all on the ice.
Welcome back to Curling Day in Canada, where we are celebrating legends in the sport, which includes Canadian Olympian Brad Gushue. And Bob, he has quite the cheering section. It is the Gushue girls from Gander. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Well, if you have ever been to a Brier or a World Championship where Brad and his team are playing, you would have seen these gals in their pink up in the stands cheering on. Let's hear their story.
We all curl together at the Gander Curling Club. And we've been following Brad for years, since he was in juniors. So we thought when Ottawa came about for the Brier that we would go because it was pretty close to us in Newfoundland. And then we certainly decided that we needed to have shirts so that he would know we were there to support him.
Brad shows great sportsmanship and dedication. And if you see him on the ice, he's a pure gentleman. And he brings that to the sport. And he not only represents curling, he represents his province and his people. And he's an inspiration not only to the curling world, but the rest of sports as well.
I think he's fabulous. He's a great ambassador for curling and for our province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
I was very honored to come and support Brad, his games, and to help these ladies. That's what we do. We're always very supportive to help each other. So very proud.
We basically knew each other because of our work. We were teachers, most of us. And so we knew each other. We curled together. And of course, going and traveling together. We have obviously bonded in a whole different way. And we're great friends and we support each other.
We have decided we are retiring as well, yes. 11 years, it's enough.
Nice shot!
And we are joined now by the triple threat, the guy who's won a Brier World Championship and an Olympic gold medal. Brad, when you see those women there, I know you know them, the Gushue girls and stuff, but does it ever amaze you that all the fans that you have, not just in Newfoundland and Labrador, but also right across Canada, every part of it, and really right around the world wherever they curl. Do you ever get amazed by that?
I do. I'm amazed by it every time I step out on the ice. And the funny thing is, when the Gushue girls started to come to the Brier and support us, I really didn't know them. I've gotten to know them over the last number of years, but to see them at each and every Brier, it's always nice to look up. And I just saw the shot that you showed there on the camera. I remember looking up at them. You know, we were in Regina playing the Brier against Mike McEwen, who was representing Saskatchewan, and it felt pretty lonely. We didn't have the support that we normally have at most Briers, and I remember I made that shot and I looked right up at them because I could see the 6 pink shirts, and that was a fun moment for me.
Well, Brad, I'm sure the fan support has meant so much to you, especially after announcing your upcoming retirement. You're getting set to face off in your final Montana's Brier. So walk us through what it's like balancing those emotions, not only preparing for that, but also looking back at all the memories you've had through a remarkable career.
Yeah, it's been a tough season because you look back at all the things that you've done over the course of your career, and each milestone that you get to throughout the season, you realize this is probably the last time I'm going to be playing this event or doing this. And certainly looking forward to the Brier in St. John's. I'm probably just as nervous and stressed as I am excited. I really don't know how I'm going to handle the emotions because I know they're going to be there. I think it's natural and expected that, I'm going to experience those emotions. But, I'm going to try and focus as much as I can and compete the way I normally do. But I also want to take some moments and really stop and smell the roses because, this is going to be the last Brier. I played in 20 plus of these, and it's going to be a special moment to play it in my home city.
Well, the Gushue girls are retiring as well, so you've got some partnership there. You guys can share some notes. But as Curling Day in Canada here, and I'm sure you can see what's going on behind us here, whether you are a curler like you are, one of the best players in the world, or you're once a week curler like me, what do you think brings us to the game? Everybody at every level of this game. What do you think makes it so popular?
Well, it is the social part. I think when you're out on the ice, there's so many opportunities to engage with the people you're playing against, your own team, sometimes the people on the next sheet. And I always talk about the club setting whenever you go to curling clubs around the country. Like there's special groups. and people are willing to help each other out, and it brings that community feel into the sport, probably more than any other sport in this country. And that's what I love about it. And I'm hopeful I'm going to continue in that throughout the rest of my career, is still being engaged with the club and engaged in the curling community.
Well, Brad, you speak about your career, and it has been such a joy to watch you over the decades. I don't want to make you too emotional here, but when retirement does ultimately come, what do you think you're going to miss the most about this sport?
You know what? I'm probably going to miss my teammates and those times on the road that I love so much. But the other things that I'm not going to miss, I'm not going to miss the travel and being away from my family, and the luxury that I do have is my girls are starting to get really heavily involved in the sport, and I want to follow them and support them on their journey. So I think that's going to keep me close to the game. But certainly, when you're with your teammates and you're out on the road, we have so many memories, so many stories from just hanging out in the rooms or doing silly stuff outside of the curling rink that I'm going to miss. But I'm also looking forward to the opportunities that are going to come with my daughters.
And I know spending more time with your family was a big decision in ultimately announcing your retirement, but it has been such a joy watching you all these years, Brad. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast today. We'll continue to cheer you on in this final stretch.
Thanks for having me, and you guys are doing a great job promoting the sport, and keep it going.
Thanks, Brad. Canada's behind you. And of course, as our coverage continues in celebration of Curling Day in Canada, the Huntsville Curling Club held an event introducing people new to curling. It was the opportunity to try it for the very first time, and this was awesome because no experience was required. Instructors guided new curlers through all the fundamentals. Equipment was provided, so everything was covered. No new gear had to be purchased, and overall, it was simply a fantastic introduction for everyone who participated.
And when we come back, we're going to tell you how your club might be able to win $5,000.
Hi, I'm Jess, and I'm married to Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott, and I'm married to Jess. I was helping with our Learn to Curl here in this fall session, and I was just kind of a guy around just to kind of help corral curlers, and Jess was there, and eventually, towards the end of the 7 weeks, I decided that we should maybe go for dinner or a drink. And eventually I summed up the courage to ask her out, and we ended up at the, was it the pub?
I think so.
Then we decided that we should curl in our mixed league together, and then we've just been curling for 5 or 6 years now together.
I remember him sitting at another table talking about something that I was like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is, kind of thing. Then slowly he would come over and start helping me when we were doing development league and be like, hey, try this, try that. And then I was like, oh, okay, he actually kind of cares. And that's kind of how he broke the ice. We actually were currently in a bond spiel in January in 2024, I think. And I guess he had the ring in his pocket the whole weekend and was going to propose when, either during one of the games or something. It didn't end up happening on the ice. I think he got a little nervous. He waited till everyone had left, and then in the parking lot proposed. So because we met here, our photographer actually on the way back was like, wait, I have one more stop. So she had us stop here and took some pictures out front, which is a really nice element. Because we did get married here, we had our stag and doe here, we just had so many life events here that it's an important place to us. And then we were able to actually get a picture at our wedding, we had a moment of, hey, if anyone has curled with Jess and Scott, stand up and let's go outside and take a picture. It's been a great opportunity and great life-changing event just to be able to meet Scott and find my person and just build our little life together. Our dog is even named Skip, which is kind of great. He's a little rascal, but so it's just like curling is basically our life.
Jess and Scott, that is a rock solid romance. See what I did there, Bob?
I got you.
Pretty clever. I don't know. I think we might have to have a Hallmark movie about curling in the works. Maybe?
That'd be good. Maybe.
Be onto something? We already have
Maybe.
cool sweepings.
Cool
Now
sweepings.
a romantic curling movie?
Yeah.
We'll brainstorm a little bit. But of course, not only as we're celebrating love and the joy of curling, we also want to tell you more about how curlers across our country can join in on the big shootout. Now, this is a really cool competition. It's a Canada-wide draw to the pin contest, and participating curling clubs across our country can win $5,000. Bob, tell us a little bit more about how curlers can win some money.
All right, here's the rules, and this is how it works. Basically, it is a draw to the pin competition. You got to cover the pin. All draw shot attempts must be continuously video recorded or live streamed or time stamped. Shootout attempts must be 30 continuous minutes in duration on one sheet of ice. So you stay on the same sheet like they're doing right behind us here. We'll get to them in a minute. Only draw shots covering the pin are considered successful. You got to cover the pin, and a participant who successfully throws a draw shot that goes onto the pin is out. They can't throw a second one. And for full rules, you got to visit curlingdayincanada.ca/shootout.
Okay, are we gonna have a look at what's happening in Huntsville?
Yeah, it's going on right behind us, and I got to say they're pretty organized right here, the way they're doing it. They have got rocks coming down like repeatedly. It's pretty good. And they're just going. Now, I did hear just a few minutes ago that they so far haven't got one to the pin.
It's a challenging contest.
Well, I got to tell you a story. I was playing my game a couple weeks ago, and I threw a rock that landed right on the pin. Now, it was great, except for the fact that the guy called a corner guard, my skip. So he wasn't too happy with me at that point. So
I got to say, Bob, we were curling earlier this morning, and you are quite talented. You're a man of many hats.
That was a different kind of curling. Yeah, I used to curl a little bit. I played Russ Howard once, you know. How about that?
I know, you're a big deal. Curling Hall of Fame.
I got swamped, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. But let's see how many draws Huntsville can get onto the pin before we conclude this contest.
And again, a reminder to everyone participating across our country that clubs can still enter. So you have until 3 a.m. Eastern or midnight Pacific until the contest closes. And again, $5,000 is up for grabs. All right, well, as you can see, Huntsville Curling Club is having quite the time. Still lots more to come here on Curling Day in Canada. You got peanut butter and jelly, salt and pepper, or beer and curling. Two things that go together. But what happens when the beer is all gone? The Comex Curling Club has that mysterious answer coming up next. Welcome back to Curling Day in Canada, where here at the Huntsville Curling Club, Bob and I have been hard at Welcome back to Curling Day in Canada, where here at the Huntsville Curling Club, Bob and I have been hard at work. So I think we deserve a refreshment break.
Well, you came to the right place. Look at this, a 125-year celebratory beer. Now, the beer's not 125-year-old.
No.
It's very fresh.
It's been aging.
I can attest to that. Had a couple last night, maybe. Don't tell anybody about that.
Maybe not.
But, you know, over the years, beer and curling has sort of gone together, and they've come together in different ways in one particular curling club out in Comox. Now, curling has not always been played with stones. People have found other things to use. Tin can curling was big when I was young. I used to take these tin cans, fill them full of cement, and throw them down.
Very cool.
And then I was at a Thanksgiving bonspiel one time where they used frozen turkeys. So that was pretty
Clever.
good. But I want you to go out to Comox, BC right now and see what they did with keg brewing.
This was an initiative that we started, I guess, 5 or 6 years ago in conjunction with our season-ending wind-up fundraiser bonspiel called the Pros and Joes, that has beginner curlers, amateur curlers, first-time curlers, alongside experienced curlers, all in the name of supporting a local grassroots charity. And then the Battle of the Breweries became the Saturday night entertainment for the Pros and Joes funspiel. So, and because we're a craft beer bar, we deal with a lot of breweries up and down the island, some from the mainland as well. So we made it a little brewery bonspiel for bragging rights and a chance to win the cherished Kegoblet trophy.
The event has raised money for many local charities. But you may be wondering, usually when you see an empty beer keg, it's about what has happened, not what's next. So what made Keith decide that maybe there was more fun to be had once the kegs ran dry?
I think I saw a YouTube clip of someone throwing a keg on curling ice, and I think they just, oh, that's funny. And so because of all of our full and empty kegs that are here right alongside the curling sheet, I thought, let's try that ourselves, and let's actually try playing in a game, not just as a giggle.
First, I kind of thought it was a little bit of a joke. Like, I wasn't sure if he was serious, if if it was just going to be like, a kid's event. I thought I didn't know how to expect, what to expect from the event. But first time going to it, it was such a blast. Like, it was way bigger of an event than I thought. There were people banging upstairs on the upstairs viewing area, and it was something super cool I wasn't expecting. I think this is going to spark a whole new generation of people wanting to get out there and curl, because it was such a blast, and people are like, there's leagues out there, and I'm like, even for myself, I thought it would be a fun thing to, start just a fun little amateur league and get going. And
the funny thing about curling kegs is the running surface of a beer keg is actually very similar to the running surface of a curling stone. And it spins quite well, it curls a little bit, and it's actually not as lethal on the ice as you might think.
Curling with kegs, very clever. Now, speaking of beverages, Lake of Bays Brewery, located in Huntsville, is also no stranger to curling. In fact, you might have seen their logo on Team Homan's uniforms. Since 2024, Lake of Bays has been the official beer partner of Team Homan, putting out 2 beers, the Homan Empire, an extra light lager, and the non-alcoholic Team Homan IPA. Now, Team Homan has been pretty hands-on in making their beer, and Miscue even designed the cans. They look fantastic. And the partnership is more than just raising a glass to curling, but the money goes a long way for Team Homan.
The sponsorship and being able to help us financially, it's huge for us. You know, we don't get to work full-time jobs. You know, the training and the traveling just makes it so challenging. You know, we all have families at home and responsibilities, and you know, that financial aspect is definitely alleviated when we're able to partner with such great sponsors like Lake of Bays.
I think both parties are super happy with this, and we definitely want to continue, you know, riding the Team Homan wave here, because you know, I think there's nothing but you know, an upward trajectory. It gives us a real opportunity to grow in an area that is not so niche anymore. It's sort of gone, you know, not only Canada-wide but worldwide at this point.
It's been a great fit and really fun to you know, put your teammates on a beer can. It's pretty cute to see our World Championship picture on that beer can. It's pretty neat. Our Zero Beer actually won awards this year as one of the top tasting zero beers in the market. So that was pretty fun.
Now we went back to Rivermill Park, and here's the ceremonial opening of the Crokinole curling. Look at this, Lindsay. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that wasn't so good. That wasn't so good. But there's some good shots. Here's some shooting that's going on. This is a takeoff of Crokinole and curling, of course, together.
Very clever. And Bob, I witnessed this
Watch
shot.
this one. Watch this one.
Oh, see? So skilled.
I got the talent.
What can't you do? Well, there's still lots to come on Curling Day in Canada, and this year the North Hill Curling Club in Calgary is celebrating its 100th anniversary. Find out how Cheryl Bernard credits a lot of her early success to one of Calgary's most prominent clubs. And we're thrilled now to have Cheryl Bernard join the broadcast. Welcome back to Curling Day in Canada here at the Huntsville Curling Club. Bob Weeks, Lindsay Hamilton still with you, and we are checking out this awesome gear. Look at these sweet sweaters, Bob.
This logo is amazing. It's got the Scotties Trophy, the Brier Trophy on there, curlers, beavers, lots of Canadian stuff on there. These are great.
It has everything, and everyone watching can buy their own Curling Day in Canada merchandise. You can head on over to curlingdayincanada.ca. And the really neat part, Bob, is that 100% of proceeds from all the gear support youth curling programs across our country. And I have to say, I have now 7 or 8 of these sweaters from all of our broadcasts. They are so comfy. They're warm.
They're great, and lots of different colors to choose from. I mean, it's great. I love them. I've got a big collection, too.
And the baby blue might be my favorite. Now, of course, speaking of youth curling, the North Hill Curling Club is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. And before Cheryl Bernard became a Canadian Olympian, at one point, she was just a kid discovering her passion for the sport.
As I step into the North Hill Curling Club and as I look around, it takes me back 50 years to the day I threw my first curling rock. And I feel the weight of its history in a good way, because the North Hill Curling Club will be celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. Over the decades, the club grew to be a staple of not only the curling community, but North Calgary. However, a tragic fire in 1995 almost put an end to that.
Firefighters tried, but they couldn't do it. There was no way they could save the North Hill Curling Club.
Sad.
Got a lot of good memories here.
Yeah.
The dedicated Calgary curling community came together and rebuilt. A little over a year later, the North Hill Curling Club was reborn, opening its doors better than ever. Today, North Hill is known for its welcoming spirit and its strong curling traditions. I still remember the very first rock I ever threw was here on the North Hill ice. I was 8 years old. I could barely get the rock to the other end of the ice and probably had no idea what that moment would become in my life. That was the start of everything for me, and this building has gone on to give so many others their own beginnings and their own dreams. Over the years, I was lucky enough to spend countless hours during my competitive days sharpening my shots, working on my delivery, and feeling surrounded by this tight-knit curling family that lifted me up. It's a place that shaped champions, but more importantly, it shaped people. North Hill was never just a building. It was always a community. It was the place where kids could pick up a broom for the first time, where seniors could keep playing well into their later years, and where everyone in between found a place to belong. It was where people gathered, socialized, laughed, competed, and built friendships that stretched far beyond these walls. It wasn't just where we curled, it was where we all connected. I'd volunteer to run clinics there or help out with junior curlers because this club felt so rooted in its community. In fact, North Hill's junior program welcomes curlers aged 7 to 18, regardless of background or prior experience, and offers coaching, practice time, and even funding for competitive development. Today, North Hill Curling Club is still a staple in the Calgary curling community. Anyone from beginners to seasoned veterans are welcome. North Hill is not just preserving tradition, it's actively building the next generation of curlers, and I'm proud to have been part of its story.
And we're thrilled now to have Cheryl Bernard join the broadcast. Cheryl, describe how important it is to have a curling club like North Hill.
I mean, it was really never just about a building. I threw my very first stone there. I hate to say this, but 51 years ago was my first curling rock at the age of 8. And, that really set the stage for where I was going to go as a curler. And that club has supported me through many, many years. And I even go back now and you can just see the community it builds. There's young kids stepping onto the ice. There's seniors still playing. It's always been more than a club. It's really been a huge community and a supporter to all the curlers that, are coming onto the stage now or who want to continue to play the game.
How important, Cheryl, are some of those programs that you mentioned there for seniors or for juniors, and not only bringing people into becoming Olympians like you were, but by just having them become curlers and finding out what curling is all about? Because that, to me, is the secret to the game.
Well, you can see it building now. A few years back, I was a little worried about our game, but as I go to the curling club more and more and see the Saturday morning leagues are full and the Learn to Curl leagues are full, and I think it's a combination of the Brier and the Scotties and the Olympics, but then these clubs are so welcoming. So some place like North Hill, they're making lessons available. They're bringing pros out onto the ice. They're offering coaching. They're really opening their doors, and I think that's what we need to do to continue to build this game for young and old alike.
Cheryl, you mentioned building the game, and when you talk about the next generation of curlers, how does a club like North Hill help develop those future talented kids?
Well, I think it's partly the club's responsibility, but I think it's partly our responsibility. We're kind of the shoulders that the next generation will stand upon. So, I think the North Hill Club does a great job of bringing in the older players that, have had success. They're role models effectively for these young kids, and kids look up to them and they can see themselves and they can see what could be. And I think that's kind of the secret sauce that these clubs are really getting onto going forward, is really trying to provide the opportunity for kids and show them what's possible and make it easy. And curling is not an expensive sport. You compare that to a lot of the sports across this country, and the biggest thing you need to curl is ice access. So that is what North Hill does, and many clubs in this country do.
Well, we look forward to watching the next generation of curlers shine. And Cheryl, thank you for all that you've done in the sport. We appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you both. Thanks for having me.
All right, look at this. This is a close shot. Look how close this comes, Lindsay.
Down to the wire.
Close. Okay, but I got to give you an update here.
Let's hear it.
Update for the Huntsville Curling Club. So far, they have got 3 on the button. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. We're giving away $5,000. It can't be easy.
Good prize money on the line. Okay,
Next.
when we return, what's it like to curl in the northernmost curling club in Canada? Find out next.
Almost 6,500 kilometers north of Huntsville is Inuvik. About 150 kilometers south of the Arctic Ocean, a small town of 3,500 residents located in the northwest corner of the Northwest Territories.
It's currently minus 25 out, but it can get as cold as minus 40. And we just got the sun back about a week ago. And so we're slowly gaining a lot of daylight. And come mid-May, we will have 24-hour daylight for about 2.5 months.
There are always constant reminders of the harsh winter climate.
Well, so Tuktoyaktuk, supposedly, this is what I've been told, their curling club washed away into the Arctic Ocean on a storm one night. That's my understanding.
Inuvik is home to one of only 8 curling clubs in the Northwest Territories and one of just 4 with artificial ice. Despite the remote area, curling is thriving in one of the distant and isolated parts of Canada.
Curling is quite popular in Inuvik. We do run a very vibrant junior youth program. So basically ages 9 and up. We also have ages 5 to 8. We have a half ice curling program. We run that October, November, December. And then what we do is the one-day Rockstar Festival, we call it, for ages 5 to 8. And it's basically just a one-day festival where the kids can play half ice curling and they compete for a 6-foot trophy. That's a passion of mine to coach, and my goal is to have every kid try curling.
And the kids in Inuvik are embracing curling.
My name is Charlotte. I live in Inuvik and I'm 9.
My name is Ellie. I am 11 and I live in Inuvik.
My name is Erin. I'm 9 and I live in Inuvik.
Curling for the kids of Inuvik is less about competition and more about fun and friendship.
Curling's fun because I get to play with my friends and it's just fun being Skip and getting to shoot rocks.
I like throwing the rocks. It's because it's easier than sweeping. Because you get to hang out with friends and you get to learn new things and you get to learn different ways to curl.
Curling is truly thriving up north in Inuvik or thriving here in Huntsville. And Bob, it's pretty special how curling really reaches every corner of Canada, and it also reaches Canadians of all abilities. Special Olympics and curling have gone hand in hand for a really long time.
They do have a special relationship, and up at the Richmond Hill Curling Club just north of Toronto, there's a tremendous program that gives special ed students and Special Olympians a chance not only to enjoy the game and have some good friendship, but almost maybe compete at a national level.
Yellow got one with all those rocks in play?
Yeah.
Wow.
Curling and community are both close to Corey Randall's heart. A special education teacher and coach for the Special Olympics, runs a weekly curling program at the Richmond Hill Curling Club just north of Toronto. It's a chance for her students and young adults with intellectual disabilities to succeed within the community.
We sign them up for Special Olympics, they play, and then when they graduate and leave the program, they don't want to leave curling, so they come back.
Corey's dedication has helped the program grow tremendously. What began with 1 sheet of ice has grown to 6.
At first, I felt like nervous, but then when I got to meet these wonderful people, I actually feel like I really belong.
It's fun to spend time with friends. It feels like a big family here.
I enjoy being here and I enjoy making people stay and I enjoy socializing and talking to others.
I like to teach everybody where they want to put the rocks in the house. That's my job as the leader of the curling team.
Community and inclusiveness are just a few words Corey used to describe the program. The partnership between the Richmond Hill Curling Club and Corey has made it all possible.
They're special, but when they're on the ice, they are as good as curlers as their members here. Anybody with any ability can get out there and curl, and the kids have a great time.
The members of the program have volunteered at events representing the club.
We like to give back, and we think it's important. One thing I've really seen is their confidence grow in meeting new people, making new friends, really feeling a part of something.
Several athletes here at the club have also curled on the national stage.
Doesn't matter if you're 8 years old, 5 years old, or 90, 99, no, like, as long as you're able to do it, no, you can get out there and play.
None of this would be possible without the Special Olympics athletes and the community behind it. That includes Corey.
Corey, my coach, is the best coach I ever.
She's very sweet, very kind, very helpful. Always there to lend a helping hand, and she doesn't judge.
The reason I'm here is because of a wonderful human being named Corey.
Take a look at these donuts, Bob.
It is Tim Hortons Day, and special O, special donut right here. I'm going to eat my special O special donut
Can
right
I take
here.
a bite now? You take a bite, and I'll tell people where
Okay.
they can get them. Yes, so until Sunday at participating Tim Hortons locations across our country, you can purchase your own Special Olympics donut, and the best part is 100% of proceeds support Special Olympics programs across our country. Not only do these donuts support fantastic programs across our great nation, but I think they're delicious. Bob, let me know. I'm going to take a bite.
100% of the proceeds are going to Special O, and 100% of this donut is going in my mouth. It is really good.
I ate too much.
No.
We're back. To account to the end. Well, we almost are wrapping up another successful curling day in Canada, and it's been amazing to see all the photos come in using the hashtag Curling Day in Canada. From coast to coast to coast, Canadians are enjoying the sport of curling. They're hurrying hard, and Bob, they're having quite the time today, aren't they?
It has been an amazing one, this Curling Day in Canada. You know, this is, I think, the best one we've ever done, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think it really shows you how much energy is behind the game right now. You know, we were in Newfoundland and Labrador, we were up north, we were every part of this country in Winnipeg, and just everywhere. It's positive signs about the game.
Absolutely. We had so many special guests. We talked to Brad Gushue, Cheryl Bernard, Russ Howard. Of course, we talked about Cool Sweepings, our Hallmark love curling movie that might be around the corner. And we might be finishing off these Special Olympics donuts, too. You've made some good progress on yours, Bob.
I did. I only stopped because I had to talk. But there's also that chance for $5,000. So don't forget, you can go to Curling Day in Canada to get the rules. These guys from Huntsville might win it. I think they're at 3 right now, and they are going nonstop. I mean, they're really motoring.
I was going to say, I mean, this is the Huntsville entry in the big shootout to finish, as you mentioned, $5,000 up for grabs. And a reminder for everyone, it is open until 3 a.m. Eastern. That's 12 p.m. Pacific. So participating curling clubs across our country, be sure to enter and try to win $5,000. Pretty special.
And don't forget merch. Look at this merch we got here.
Show off the sweaters one more time, Bob.
Look at that. These are absolutely snug as a bug. You will be if you do that. Oh, we got another one here, I think.
Does that mean they're at 4 now?
4 now? 4?
4, okay. So yes, again,
their time is
reminder,
almost
you can
up.
get your very own Curling Day in Canada merchandise. Head to curlingdayincanada.ca. 100% of proceeds support youth curling programs across our country. Bob, another successful Curling Day in Canada in the books.
Thank you to everybody here in Huntsville. What a great hosting job they did for us.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. And again, thank you to all of our guests who joined today's broadcast, our entire TSN crew. Thank you for joining us for another Curling Day in Canada. Hurry hard! Let's go enjoy our donuts, Bob.